Good morning and welcome to Season A, where the platform where we speak truth to power. This is very, very shocking news. I don't know many of you would have heard this. It was on channels this morning, not too long ago, a couple of hours back. YUGUDA, a former minister in government, is actually pointing the finger at President Buhari. You will hear it in a series of comments that he's about to make on this subsidy issue thing. It was on Channels News this morning. I just felt it was something we need to look at and we can discuss at length. I will interject with my comments as we progress. Let's go ahead. Please do share this podcast. Subscribe to Season A, the platform where we speak truth power. This is shocking. Buhari should be arrested. He should be arrested already. But is there a political will? That's something you will hear him talk about. There is no political will in this process. And that is a real concern. If Tinubu is really serious about dealing with things, then he needs to go at the people that are at the bottom of this. And it goes much, much deeper than many of us realize. But let's listen. Here we go.
First is a former managing director of Now and Inland Bank, is a former minister of state for transport and aviation, a former governor of Bauchi State. Good morning and thank you for coming on today. Thank you. Well, part of what the president said, if we could just even go through some others, yes, you've heard some of what he says there, that he will make the financial system work for Nigerians. But he also did say that, look, under the former CBN governor, the financial system was rotten, and then few people were making bags of money. He also did say the subsidy on petrol needed to go because it was making a few people rich, and then several others couldn't benefit from it. And after which he said, look, we will cleanse this financial system. We will make sure that that financial system works. So those are some of the comments of the president there about that system. Yes, they've gone ahead and taken some policy decisions. We'll talk about that impact. But about what you have heard him say now about the financial system, were you surprised at all?
Listen.
Thank you very much.
Listen to this.
I think Mr. President wouldn't have said anything better. Maybe I will start with the issue of subsidy first.
Yeah.
This has been a very...
YUGUDA is his name, former MD, Anel and Inland Bank. And it's also governor of Bauchi State.
And it was maybe a motion without movement. It was just a talk show, and then government didn't have the political will to address the problem. I was privileged to serve as the chairman of the subcommittee 2008 and 2009 under the economic meltdown. I was one of the members. 3 of us governors and some other members with Mr. President as chairman. So I chaired the committee on subsidy, and everything about the subsidy regime, and then the scam in the subsidy regime was discovered by my committee. And of course, since then, recommendations were made, which unfortunately were never implemented, and it's very sad. I'm sad to let Nigerians know that from what I saw, we came across situations where subsidy was claimed on pipelines that never existed.
Subsidy claim on pipelines that never existed. Why are these people not arrested?
Either finished product.
Why have these people who have been claiming this, why have they not been arrested? I mean, this is going to test, this should be, however long, he will go on and say, however long this was crime or committed, these people should be called to account, whether alive or dead. I mean, it's a bombshell. Listen on.
So crude, maybe from Kaduna, from Wari to Kaduna.
NNPC making this claim?
Of course, who else is doing it?
Oh dear.
Those that pump and those that are...
NNPC. Mele, Kyari, the guy that talks and everything else. This guy is making very clear, indication, allegation here. A clear, is pointing the fingers at the right people here. Mele Kyari needs to be answering questions, but where is it? Where is it? Let me see if I can get a picture of Mele Kyari out so we know exactly what we're talking about here. Let me see if I can get a picture of him out. This is going to be a very long one, but I want to really touch on this because it is quite sad that you know that these people who are supposedly working on our behalf or anything are coming up and making this kind of getting away with crimes. Sorry about this. They're getting away with crimes. Let me just see if I can get a picture of him to show you. This is the petroleum CEO, and others, So let me just get that out. Yeah. So he's the NNPC boss. Yeah. Let's just get his. I want you to have his picture because it's best you see that picture. That way you don't have any, misgivings. You need to be very clear about, what we're looking at here. Let me just make sure. I'll give you this 1 minute, please. I know it's a long thing. Just sometimes it's better to. I'd rather wait and get the right information in than just come out and just, So he talked about, and I think you need to associate. We need to begin to associate things with, in this proper context, because what he said here is very true. So now, not that one. Sorry about that. That's an earlier video. So that is Know.Mele Kyari that he's talking about there. That is the guy that he's talking about, the CEO for NNPC. These guys are the guys looting our funds. He should be calling for questioning. He's been the man. He was in July 2022. He was made the head of the CEO under BUHARI government. Why isn't this guy being called into questioning? Why? Why isn't he being called into questioning? That's the question we should be asking. Again, we can encourage you all to continue to be active and participate in your governance. This guy needs to answer a question. This is Know.Mele Kyari, the CEO for NNPC. So let me just go. I don't have to just show you that. Now let's play this one here if I can. I'll bring it back in, but I want you to just hear what he said there so you can see what he's saying.
Yeah, motion without movement. It was just a talk show, and then, government didn't have the political will to address the problem. I was privileged to serve as the chairman of the subcommittee 2008 and 2009 on the economic meltdown. I was one of the members, 3 of us governors and some other members with Mr. President as chairman. So I chaired the committee on subsidy, and everything about the subsidy regime, and then the scam in the subsidy regime was discovered by my committee. And of course, since then, recommendations were made, which unfortunately were never implemented, and it's very sad. I'm sad to let Nigerians know that from what I saw, we came across situations where subsidy was claimed on pipelines that never existed. You just claim that I would have pumped X amount of, either finished products or crude, maybe from Kaduna, from Warri to Kaduna.
Who, by NNPC? Making this claim?
Of course, who else is doing it?
Oh dear.
Those that pump.
NNPC, and that's the boss of. They need to. He should be asking questions.
They just fill papers, invoices, and they claim subsidy on it. In fact, there was an instance of a pipeline that was supposed to exist between Lagos and Warri. And tons of monies were collected on subsidy on a pipeline that never existed.
You see?
This is Nigeria for you.
You see?
I thought they were telling us that it is marketers and some other persons who are perpetrating the fraud. So NNPC is involved.
They are all
NNPC is involved.
All of them.
You see that?
All of them.
Know.Mele Kyari and all of them.
And I must say,
all of them
also report that, you see, Nigeria subsidy, if it's that part of it that is actually goes for the subsidy, we go on subsidizing sub-Saharan Africa and Central Africa because the bulk of these products are smuggled out of this country. Then who is subsidizing who?
Wait, that report that you spoke about NNPC, all of them being involved, was it submitted to the government?
Of course it was.
See?
Government
all
knows
of them.
about this?
Of course, yes, they do. And attempts were made, but I'm telling you, it can be very frustrating in Nigeria to implement policies, especially where there are interest and a cabal that exists. Just similar to what you have as this bunkering issue. Something not, it can be stopped, but you can't stop it. It can be stopped, but the political will to stop it is not there. There are so many interests that are involved there.
That's the picture of Buhari just saw there.
That's what is leading Nigeria.
He needs to answer the
where we are
questions.
today. But at a point in time during the Jonathan regime, I know we hardly were pumping up to 1 million barrels a day. And the prices kept crashing. Then how do you manage the economy that is dependent on oil? So the subsidy regime, like I said...
So it's protein also, Jonathan, good luck as well.
Way back in 2012, 2013, should have gone. Any person that is shouting subsidies are going to affect that, this is a selfish person. A person who is connected to the scammers that are killing this country.
What you've said is very shocking to a lot
Of course,
Nigerians.
it's shocking.
Much as you said you were
Shocking.
sad to tell it, but yes, it's important that Nigerians know. And that means that all this while, the previous government and previous governments have been lying to Nigerians about this subsidy matter.
I think so. They didn't have the political will to take the decisions to remove it. All this, they say, IMF is pushing us, IMF is that, World Bank is... That is not the issue. In fact, I have one of my friends
You see?
who is in the oil industry. We traveled to China with him, one of the presidents.
This is admissions, though. This guy should be talking to... He should be called in for a question as well.
See, I'm a member of the economic team of Mr. President. And when I went for a meeting, I told him, Mr. President, I called him by the side. I said, Mr. President, please remove this subsidy. He said, we are tired of making money.
What?
Yes. I'm telling you to God Almighty.
This man should be called in to name names, to explain, to call out all of the people. Look, if we do not, this is a, I don't even have the words for it. Listen on. He knows people with the former president, and he will mention President Buhari's name in this broadcast. Listen on.
He said, we are tired of making money, Mr. President. Remove this subsidy.
Wow.
Because he is a patriot, and he's seen the scams that are going on there.
Goodness.
And he told me he's alive today.
You see, then what? You should mention his name. These guys they shouldn't get away with this. What's your view on this? What is your view? We are all suffering collectively, abroad or at home and abroad, as a result of the looting of the resources of the country on a daily basis, barefaced looting. The question is President Tinubu bold enough to confront this himself? Because these are people that he knows. They are people who are going to be in Tinubu's government involved in this subsidy scam as well. Is he bold enough to call them out and charge them? Is he? That's the question.
You talked about the recommendations that were made.
Come again?
The recommendations made in that report. What were the recommendations?
Well, the recommendation was to remove the subsidy and some steps to address some of the problems associated to making the product expensive as it even lands. At a point in time, that time, ships would line up, over 60, 70 ships lining up in the high sea, trying to come in to dock and
60, 70 ships lining up.
Then discharge in Atlas Cove, the fuels.
Discharge in Atlas Cove.
Of 2-3 months. And we paid demurrage. The country pays close to about 100 to 150 million.
Can you see Can you see where our money is going? Please, those of you watching now, I always take the opportunity to do this, and I want us to. The first thing, I'm for Yoruba Nation, but for as long as we're in Nigeria, this thing we must do, and I will continue to espouse and talk about this until we all, as citizens, collectively get that message and begin to do this particular thing. Just one thing here. I need you to really. I can't overemphasize this point, to be honest with you. So let me just go there here. 1 second, please. This is now something that we have to demand that these people be made to account. So what am I asking for? I am asking you, but I'm going to bring it back, to participate in your own governance. You see, you have to use these powers. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through its constitution, derives all its powers and authority. You need to do that. Section 14.2c. The participation by the people in the government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. We need to combine those two and begin to actively question those we elect into office. The time for us to look around and just look and pray to God and all that. Please don't even talk about God in this discussion. No God, no Allah, no Muhammad, no Jesus. The people who are doing this, who are harming your generations to come, are on this earth. They're not in heaven. They are the ones we need to confront. And we need to put pressure on President Tinubu, whether there is friends or not, to instigate, to take action and arrest these people, to come and account for the money. And those money should be returned back to the country, so that we can have a proper development in all our local government areas. Participate in your governance, please. That's what I'm here about. Let's carry on.
Dollars every month.
$100 million every year.
We suggested that there should be a floating barge, maybe that can carry fuel. Up to maybe 4, 5, or 10, or even 20 ships. We can have a floating barge that can store that, and then we have barges coming to pick and then discharge.
Why not fix our refineries? These guys are. Why not fix our refineries? Why are they citizens? This is what we need to do. We're not only now going to ask a question about why they shouldn't. We are going to tell them that I would demand that our refineries be fixed. That's a kind of action we should be taking collectively, because without fixing those refineries, they are harming us, and they're doing us a disservice by allowing our own funds to be taken away to benefit foreign countries. That's what's happening.
At Atlasco said no, because people are making money out of it. So I believe we have seen, God works wonderfully. We have seen a solution in a president that can do it. He can really do it because he knows the problems and he knows the solutions.
Well, the first thing is to ensure that the refineries are functioning. They're saying they're going to remove subsidy, but they're not going to fix the refineries. Are they fixing the refineries? Are they fixing it? Now let's listen on.
And he's been a businessman. And he's from the commercial center of Nigeria. And he made Lagos what it is today as a medium-income economy. So he knows he knows all the crooks in the country.
Help us understand this a little bit more. Won't your friend then say that they were tired of making money, understanding the scam? So did he tell you, why didn't the president go ahead and remove it? Because if he had that first-hand information, he should have acted, the former president.
I'm sorry, my brother. The president may not have done it because of the entrenched interest. Could even be at the risk of his life. But at least the president of Nigeria is adequately protected. If I were him, I would have bitten the bullet and taken the decision.
So let
hell fall, because the poor man out there is suffering and dying of hunger.
Yeah,
and we are busy feeding on them in collaboration with foreigners.
But at the risk of his life.
In collaboration with foreigners. This is what I'm saying to you, citizens. We can no longer be silent. Please. You need to do this. And I'm going to even go further still. I'm going to call on you. I'll be saying it on my program. And please take the time to share this. We need to be doing this. What I'm going to show you shortly. I want you to be doing this now. Because we cannot wait around anymore. And not here. Please, we require your active participation in your governance. It's when we all come together and begin to demand what is ours collectively in every single community. Because this subsidy is impacting the lives of all of us collectively. Active participation in our governance is of immense importance. Please, this is our lives are being. I've just spoken to people who are in Nigeria now. As I speak, they are looking to leave the country and go to foreign countries. They've been called by the countries, okay, you can come over, because of the bad governance. People are trying to leave Nigeria as a result of the bad governance and our reluctance to become active participants in our governance. We need to put a stop to that. We are blessed with everything. We require our collective active participation. Thank you. Thank you. 1 second, please. Okay. 1 second, please. 1 second. Okay.
Just stay with us.
So I believe
Individuals or
availability.
political.
Okay. Are you there? I hope you can see me.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, so when you say that unless government has the political will to do the needful, nothing can be done. So the question then that comes to my mind is, I mean, do you think that the report of that committee that you sat on in 2009, do you think is still relevant? Do you think those institutions, those individuals or entities that were being paid subsidies at the time, do you think they can still be questioned? Are they still available to be questioned?
a crime does not have, it's not time bound. So a crime can be investigated anytime, even after 100 years, or even after somebody is dead, you can still be investigated. So if records are there, if they have not been tampered with, definitely those records are there. And I believe there are many more reports thereafter of, this scam, because I know the former Minister of Finance, Ngozi, who we served together, she had a similar investigation where she involved some firm of, chartered accountants to do some forensic audit. In fact, in that her report, she discovered about $2 billion that was just going into private pockets. So I believe many more, committees were set up later to confirm this position, and they still continue confirming, and apparently nothing has been done. Or if something has been done, I wouldn't know, because I'm not part of the NPC.
Well, there are those who will be wondering whether or not these individuals or these entities are untouchable or not. There are those who reference one word called cabal in this fuel subsidy scam mix, as well as the oil bunkering, the oil theft that's been reported, recorded, investigated. And it would seem like all we have is just, okay, this is uncovered now, and that is it. It would seem like, okay, nothing to ask again. Do you think these individuals or these entities are too powerful to be touched? Hence, there is a need for some political will other than the laws?
Well, apparently, I think very strongly that maybe part of those who are supposed to be doing the needful to bring them to stop what they are doing are also beneficiaries of that system. It's not even a question of a cabal. The question of, a cobweb of so many other people that are involved, including, of course, maybe watchmen who are part of their employees. So it's a whole very sophisticated kind of gang-up that has led us to where we are today. And of course, most of the challenges, even in the Niger Delta, where we had challenges of youth, I mean, it's all because of injustice. Because if jobs were created in the Niger Delta, if jobs were provided, and if conditions of the quality of their life was improved, there would be no need to pick up guns. But you can see the chiefs, the government, the foreign oil operators, everybody is involved. And the people are made more and more, the majority on the land today. You go there go to rivers, go to Bayelsa, go into their local villages, and you see poverty. when it's not supposed to be there.
Okay. Okay.
That's a reality. Again, I keep saying the only solution is our active participation. This is the only solution. Our collective active participation using section 14.2a and 14.2c. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. And then 14.2c. The participation by the people in the government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. We need those two powers activated in every single community, demonstrating how this can be how they can use those powers to hold those elected into office to account to the people and ensure that they do their bidding. And also start teaching all of this from primary school, secondary school, university, all tertiary institutions, all of it, and adult education as well, so that everybody knows that we have the powers, and it will be in our local languages. I've translated this particular section of the constitution into Yoruba for people in Yoruba land, and I'm looking at my Igbo brothers will do the same thing, because these are powerful things that we need to use to begin to hold our governors to account. Enough of the talking. We need collective action.
And we are talking about, having palliatives for the militants. In that circumstance, to probably in this to have their own structure in such a way that money doesn't trickle down to the ordinary man. Something must be done. Okay. Otherwise, the way we are going, I don't think we have a very brilliant future.
Well, on that same issue,
the country is going to be Greek and our president.
Yeah. On that same issue, just a quick one before we go to one or two other issues. Help us understand how the whole subsidy claims work. I mean, you said the other time that they just submit some claims. How does this subsidy claims work? And the president, the former president and current presidents as well, for a while now, has been the petroleum minister. Do you think President Buhari, while in office, was aware of this scam?
Well, I don't know, because the Englishman will say silence is consent. And he's the president anyway, so he must know.
There you go.
I'm wondering how he cannot know it's happening. He's the president of the country, and he has taken that responsibility. He was sworn by the Quran to protect life and property and properties of Nigerians. So you can't claim ignorance. He is in charge. He's in charge. If somebody was doing something wrong, he has to take responsibility as a leader. So if somebody was doing the scam, if a group were doing a scam in subsidy, and at the end of the day, these are the results, we lay the blame on him because he's the president. And we can't claim that he's not knowledgeable about it because he's the petroleum minister. Unless if you don't, because Nigerians, we don't want to speak the truth. We don't want to speak our mind because we are afraid. But reality, facts are facts. And we must learn to say it as it is. Otherwise, we're almost like dead on arrival.
It would seem then that the subsidy scam was as the subsidy, well, the fuel oil petroleum sector was as I said, rotting as the financial system, according to the current president. In cleaning up the rotten financial system, as the president has said, help Nigerians understand what he could have meant by a rotten financial system.
Well, when you say something is rotten, it's really bad. It has gone bad, because when something is rotten, it's almost like beyond repairs. But it can be fixed. You see, the Nigerian financial system, look at the financial market, that is the capital market and the money market. When you talk about, when Mr. President talks about the whole thing is rotten, he's saying that the banks are rotten. Also, on the flip side of it, every other thing that has to do with financial intermediation too is suspect. The regulators are not doing their job. The operators are not doing their jobs. And to confirm Mr. President's assertion that is rotten, how much do we have now in AMCOM as toxic assets? Maybe you don't know the figure, but I'm assuring you it's in excess of 3 trillion, 4 trillion. A Nigerian asking what is the source of that funding of the toxic assets? It's from the taxpayers' money.
Taxpayers' money.
It is
This is why I
central
say
bank
this.
that buys up those bad loans from banks who created the bad loans, and they give them liquid cash to continue their business. They buy up this thing and keep it in Ancon to sell. And that one too is another scam. So the road is beyond anybody's imagination. The president is somebody to sympathize with. For some of us that know the inside dealing of the system, you sympathize with Tinubu and pray for him 24 hours. But the beauty of his is that he knows the problem. He has a firm grasp of the problem. At least he's 50% now. The next step is just the solution. Let him get the right people to do the job. And I'm sure he will be carried out of it.
You know, you mentioned NNPC in that while you were talking about the subsidy and then that report. So perhaps would you avail us a copy of that report much later? Because I imagine they would like to also have a thought on that.
I'm assuring you, I don't carry any government document to my house. All government documents are left where they are supposed to be.
What is the title of this report?
It's a criminal offense even for you to carry a file. You see people carrying files to their house to work. It's a criminal offense under public service regulations. So any document that is considered classified and secret, you keep it where it is.
But what about the title of the report?
It's a report on fuel subsidy.
Which year was this?
2009.
2009.
Do you know Mr. Peter Esele?
Yeah.
He's a part of my committee. Please call him and ask him.
Who chaired it?
I bring Adams on the so although Adams was not part of the subcommittee. But Peter Esele.
But who chaired the committee?
I chaired the committee.
Oh, okay.
But the president was the chairman and the vice president, Jonathan, was the deputy chairman.
So, but you should be able to at least tell us where. This is the thing. This is what I don't like. That report is something that all of us need to at least be able to be able to dissect what's going on. So saying us on wild goose chase is not on. This is something that a report should be kept and we can be able to access that. Does anybody have that report so we can look at it? Please don't misunderstand. I'm for Yoruba Nation still, but right now we're in Nigeria and we need to ensure that Nigeria begins to benefit our people in our areas. I want it to benefit Yoruba people. That is my focus.
Then of the Special Committee on Economic Meltdown. And that's why you see the meltdown, Nigerians never felt it because we really worked hard with the then new governor of the central government. You
can't be talking that we're suffering. I don't accept that. We're suffering now.
Okay. I'll say wind down on this financial system. Yes, you say the president is aware, he knows, just to take certain steps to solve it. But we also saw that they announced floating of the naira, and we saw that the dollar, many expected it will rally, naira will rally against the dollar. But today, we've seen several reports that it appears as though that forex scarcity persists. It means the supply side has not been addressed. So no matter how much of floating off the currency that we may have, it will still be a challenge because now we're reporting the naira against the dollar going at 770, which is contrary to what many expected, having announced their initial policy.
Well, maybe sometimes Nigeria has short memory. We are forgetting from where we are coming from. Where, the dollar was maybe 8 years, 9 years ago, and where it is today. And we are not asking questions as the way this thing was just leapfrogging. Nobody was asking questions. You're just watching it happening.
That is what I mean. That is what I mean by asking questions. You see, we need to participate because we have the power within the Constitution to participate in our governance. It is our duty collectively. So I'm here to remind you all, to remind us all, that our active participation in our governance is of immense importance. Our active participation. And I will keep putting that there to remind us. We need to do that collectively. Because if we don't ask questions, then they would assume that, yes, we support, which is not what we want. We need to hold them to account at every step of the way. Active participation is a must. It's of immense importance.
So something must be happening. Nobody's even asking a question. And the former CBN governor, or the suspended CBN governor, had almost 8 regimes of forex, disposal. Nobody ever asked a question. Nobody cared. Until when something happens, people start apportioning blames and so on and so forth. But the strength of a currency depends on what? It depends on the strength of your economy, that is strength of your reserves. Now, if you look at the foreign debts, our external debts against our external reserves, they are almost running neck to neck. So if the strength of your currency is derived from the strength of your reserves, where are the reserves? And that's why you are encouraged to export basic so that you don't import. You build up your reserves and your currency becomes stronger. So our reserve base now is threatened.
We need to really look at this de-dollarization as an issue. I'm going to come back and talk about that in depth again, because there is a report that came out from the US that actually exposed a lot of their plans and what they have in plan for us as Africans, what they deliberately do into how to shore up the dollar so that they can export their interest rates for us to carry, whilst they take away our profits from our own land via currency. These are the things that we need to really look at. We need to de-dollarize as quickly as possible. That's another policy that I expect to have hear a comment from President Tinubu about. But we'll come back on that later on.
And of course, people are into panic buying of dollars, because dollar has been seen as another gold, a store of value.
Well, that's it, yes. But that's what I mean. We need to know, Naira should be our store of value.
So people and all these laundered funds, the stolen money that we see people stealing from our treasury, is laundered into the dollar.
Exactly.
So there is a chase. I mean, there is that kind of a rush to buy dollar. And there's scarcity. So if we simply go by the elementary laws of demand and supply, when the supply is not there, the demand is very high. What do you expect?
So how do we make a way out of this? I mean, there was a time when Nigeria had that exchange thing with the yuan. Would that make any difference if we have different currencies by which we can rally the Naira against, not just the dollar as it is?
Well, you see, currency management, especially when it comes to do with international currencies like dollar, there's a currency of trade, currencies for reserve, because it used to be gold before we migrated to the dollar standard after the Second World War. So you can see that since it has become gold, everybody is. But you see, because of the world politics, now the politics have changed into the politics of currencies. And that's why today you have the BRICS.
Bigo, I spoke about that before. You see, I'll come and talk about that in greater detail.
What have you. Coming as a club of 8 countries, including South Africa, and some more countries are also joining, because they want to exit the dollar. You see a dollar as a dominant currency. They see the dollar as international currency. And anytime there's a problem between maybe China or Russia with America, this is your MasterCard. The headquarters is in the US. Visa card is America. And the same thing with the other card. If you swipe like this, the information goes to. So if they want to break down your economy, they can break down your economy by breaking down your finances. If you have reserves, they block the reserves. And it has happened several times. So these are some of the politics that are involved in international currency, and now it's very deep. The East now wants to have their own, and they're trying to get a block. And at the same time, the West and America are still fighting, because America will want to retain the supremacy of the dollar.
Okay.
But it's a difficult thing for them now.
So I asked a question, and indeed you mentioned where we're going to, as regards this cards, the virtual cards we use for our
the
transactions here
MasterCard,
and
the
there.
Visa card, and
I mean, the suspended CBN governor was talking about introducing a domesticated card, where a homegrown card for all our transactions. Would that make any difference? I mean, bringing it back home.
No, but that is not it. You see, once you swipe, unless otherwise Nigeria has sufficient funds, that would reach a point, but I believe Tinubu will turn it around. If you have money in your domiciliary account, you cannot withdraw it.
But now, I think that new policy, you think it's going to change? I mean, will it change anything?
Inshallah, it will. And why is because the president is looking at that. He has already, appointed an expert. Who is, I know very well, finance guru. And of course, he can advise him on that aspect. There has to be so many things that have to be in place. And there is no problem that doesn't have a solution. Since you have the capacities that are there that turn around things, a lot of things we can do to reshape the economy and start life all over again. But already comatose.
All right, just as we wind down on this, I mean, a lot of talk on the former CBN governor. Does this insulate the former finance minister?
Well, you see, the act or the law that, gave birth to the present, dispensation in the central bank. The central bank is governed by a law. I think the law has reduced the powers of the minister in supervision of the central bank. But she can't claim ignorance because she's the finance minister. The debt management office is under her. There is no how the debt management office will alert the minister that, look, we are overborrowing. The threshold of our borrowing is 40%. And today, we have reached a level whereby we are 42, 43%. And it's very scary. You have to go and alert the president that all these unnecessary borrowings we are borrowing is going to...
I mean, as a former MD of a bank...
So therefore, I mean, she has some questions to answer too.
But as a former MD of a bank, do you think that the bank themselves too, their CEOs or the bank generally, have questions as well to answer on the system?
Of course, Shambali. I told you earlier, the toxic assets in the region of 3 to 4 trillion. Who created them? Is it not the bank executives? Are they not walking the streets today with very flashy jets and so on and so forth? While their balance sheets are rotting, when they get rotten, they transfer the garbage to AMCON in connivance with Central Bank. Central Bank will dish out taxpayers' money to them, and on and on. Read the history of financial crisis.
Wow, this guy knows.
80% of it was the source is banks.
Wow.
All right, we'll anchor at this point with former MD now and Inland Bank. Mr. Isa YUGUDA is a former Minister of State of Transport and Aviation, former Governor of Bauchi State, and the Chairman, Board of Trustees for APC Professionals Forum. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you, Chambali.
All right, we're back in...
So, there you have it. That was a very extensive discussion by Mr. Isa Yunusa. Former minister, and yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are, but just in closing, before we close, I want to bring this to your attention. These are the things that we need to do. The things we know the system is not running, it's not functioning, and it's not going to run or function until we become active participants in our governance. Going to a church or a mosque is not active participation in your governance. In fact, you are leaving the responsibility to your life and your coming generation to your government without you playing your active role. If you're not active, they will continue to impoverish us and loot our money and give it to foreign countries. You heard the minister say, I've been saying this before, because of the reliance on dollar is extracting our profit and our wealth into the economy, providing for the US people lower interest rate when they borrow money at our expense, and that money is stuck in foreign bank accounts. We cannot build our roads, our water, our lights, our schools, hospitals. All the funds are being taken away. So it is, the onus is on us now in all 774 local government areas to begin to participate in our governance and hold them to account, because our money is being given freely to be used in the Western world via the financial system that designed to impoverish us. It is time we woke up. So the oil, the gas, the petrol, the financial systems, everything is geared towards having control in the Western world. So we need to play our active role, ensuring that we hold those we elected to office to account, and making sure that we also must begin to encourage our government that we need to have a naira, gold-backed naira, as our main currency that will be trading, and we should ban any use of dollars, spraying dollars in Nigeria, because we're impoverishing ourselves. By doing this. So here is where it starts. Active participation in our governance is of immense importance, and I do hope that President Tinubu is going to really call on question about. There are 13 people that this guy Kazauri has talked about. I'm going to try and do a broad video on that, including what Isa Yunusa has said. President Tinubu, Kyari, he mentioned those two names. They are people that should be questioned. They cannot, if you do not see if you do not say something under your governance, then you are tacitly involved as a president, as a minister for petroleum. So we need active action. We wait to see. We are waiting to see the steps taken by President Tinubu. Of course, we're sure that he's a true Democrat, and he wants to see our nation grow, and he wants the people to start benefiting from the resources. So what we are doing is presenting this kind of evidence to him to actually take, and we're calling on him to act on the people's behalf, and we're calling on the people now to act on their own behalf through active participation in their governance. The work is for us all to do. President Tinubu, on top of a system that is corrupt, even though he may want to make the change, the system is going to be against him. But the way we can counter that is by our active participation. When we start participating in our governance, the system will have no choice but to comply with what the president wants, which is to improve our the infrastructure. Now, yes, like I said, if the ruling of the judge, the court judgment says that there's going to be a rerun of the elections, we will, when we get to that bridge, then we will do that. But right now, he's the man in place. He's the president, and he's the man that we need to support in ensuring that we have infrastructure in our community through active participation in our governance. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Season 8, the platform where we speak truth to power. I hope you found this beneficial. Please do share this. I still maintain that the Nigerian constitution needs to be reviewed and reorganized, because it's not working for the people. So that's why you see the X on there. But those two powers that are within it, we should begin to use. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Season 8, the platform where we speak truth to power. I hope you found it beneficial. Please do share. Leave a comment. Let's hear from you. Don't forget, go ahead, subscribe to Season 8, the platform where we speak truth to power. So subscribe, hit notification button, and give us a thumbs up. Help us grow the platform. We truly appreciate you. Please leave a comment. Let's hear from you. Let's hear your thoughts on what you've seen so far. I mean, this is a bombshell by Isa Yunusa. We will be putting it out there, and let's see how how this progresses. But thank you for watching. You've been watching Season 8, the platform where we speak truth to power. I'll be back later on. Thank you, and bye for now. Bye for now.